Coney abducts kids just like Gavin. For 26 years, Coney has been kidnapping children into his rebel group, the LRA, turning the girls into sex slaves and the boys into child soldiers. He makes them mutilate people's faces. And he forces them to kill their own parents. That a bunch of littles could make a big difference. And as a result, the unseen became visible. And its only purpose is to stop the rebel group, the LRA, and their leader, Joseph Coney.
There are some kind of people, there are some kind of NGO who are trying to mobilize funds using the atrocities committed in northern Uganda.
The presentation in that video gives a picture that is not complete. When you look at it, and you listen to what they are saying, it's as if Coney is still in Uganda, as if Uganda is still at conflict. And yet, of course, we all know this is not true. This is an account of a historical fact, but that is not coming out. It gives the impression that Uganda is still at war, people are still displaced, those many children are still out sleeping on the streets in Ngolo, and of course all this is not true.
But to have millions of well-meaning but uninformed and misleading people who think about this issue is not really something that can have the kind of policy shift that is needed to accomplish anything that's sustainable in Uganda or in that area. So for me, I think the whole thing has been uninformed and oversimplified advocacy that will not really do much at all.
So essentially, from my perspective, Coney 2012 changes absolutely everything. It's the beginning of a new wave of social activism 2.0, or open source activism, and Invisible Children achieved something that no organization has ever achieved. Within 6 days, they had over 100 million views. I mean, only Lady Gaga came remotely close to that with something like 13 days, and they were also exposed to immense criticism, and so it's kind of a double-edged sword. But the irony of the criticism is it is just as guilty, or more guilty, ironically, of the same thing that they critique Invisible Children for. I can go through a very long list of all the different critiques, but that might be something that I have to do in your class with you guys. What they have achieved over 10 years of investment in trying to make a difference in Central Africa is, in my books, phenomenal, and it's also very sad at the same time that when we see hope and we see a positive message and we see something that is youth-driven and inspired by youth, that the kind of old school charity, old school social giving comes down and critiques it and tries to crush it.
Which is, we're a global community now that is looking out for these kids, these women and families that have been affected by LRA violence.
And the world is responding. Just in 2 weeks, 3.5 million people have signed the pledge, and our policymakers have taken notice. So just yesterday, Senators Inhofe and Senator Coons released the Senate version of the Coney 2012 resolution.